Hi there, welcome to Practical Piano. What is the difference between a decrescendo and a diminuendo? The short answer is there's basically no difference. Both of these dynamic markings mean that you're going to start at a louder dynamic and you're going to gradually get softer. The long answer is it's a bit more complicated. And in this video, I'm going to lay it out as simply as possible. In the last video, we went over how to play crescendos and decrescendos and how to play them well. I've linked that video in the iCards and the description in case that's a topic you're interested in. Let's get into it. So I've scoured the internet looking for the difference between diminuendos and decrescendos. I've looked at multiple articles, multiple videos. I've checked all of my music dictionaries and my regular dictionaries, and I've even had a conversation with ChatGPT. What I've discovered is that the difference between diminuendo and decrescendo is a matter of opinion, and there are basically three categories of opinion. The first camp is all about length. Some pianists and teachers think that the difference between a decrescendo and a diminuendo is the length of the dynamic. On one side of the aisle, we have people who think the diminuendo means you're going to get gradually quieter suddenly, and that the decrescendo is a longer dynamic, so you're going to get gradually quieter over a longer span of music. The other side believes the opposite. They believe the decrescendo means that you're going to get gradually quieter suddenly, and the diminuendo is going to be used for longer spans of music. The second split on opinion is based on writing. One camp thinks that the hairpin symbol, which I'm showing you on the screen, is actually called diminuendo, and that the composer is only going to use the word or the shortened form of decrescendo. They're not going to use the hairpin for a decrescendo, they'll only use it for a diminuendo. But then the other side believes the opposite. They believe the hairpin is a decrescendo, and if they're going to use the diminuendo, that's going to be as a word or a shortened word. And so they believe that the difference is in just how you write it or how you symbolize it. As far as the textbook and dictionary definitions, dictionaries are generally laying out decrescendos and diminuendos as meaning the same thing. There's a small difference in etymology. So diminuendo means to diminish or lessening, while decrescendo comes from a word that means to grow less or to go away from or diminishing. So even the difference in etymology is very small. Now, ChatGPT actually had a nuanced answer for me. Here's what I asked it. Hey Chat, can you tell me what, if any, difference there is between decrescendos and diminuendos based on their usage in piano music and the opinions of top pianists? I'll put Chat's reply on the screen so you can read the whole thing if you like. Basically, the key points were that decrescendos are considered more exact and precise, and diminuendos are considered more expressive, and more is left up to the performer to figure out. Another important point was context matters. To figure out what the artist means by decrescendo or diminuendo, take into account the era that the music was written, who the artist is, what other symbols are being used in the music to denote the dynamics, and consider the style of the song itself. ChatGPT concluded that overall, you can treat decrescendos and diminuendos the same unless the composer gives distinct instructions. Now, I'm going to show you an example of how to figure out the difference between a decrescendo and a diminuendo in a piece of music. We'll walk through it practically so that you can kind of get a feel for how these two different things could be used. In the first page of the Sonatina, we have a diminuendo on the third line. Now, because the word diminuendo was used here, let's assume that the hairpins from the first line are decrescendos from the artist's point of view. So why use decrescendos back here and diminuendo over here? These decrescendos are under two-note slurs. And generally, when we play two-note slurs, we play firmly on the first note and lighter on the second note, so that you get this kind of effect. I think that the composer is using the decrescendos in this song to make sure that you're paying attention to that two-note slur detail. Now, this diminuendo isn't being used as a reminder, but as an actual dynamic change marking. We're reaching the end of a phrase here, and it makes sense to get softer toward the end of a phrase. We often do that in music. The artist has indicated that we'll start this diminuendo at forte. Now, because the decrescendos from before, the artist was indicating a small change in volume with the two-note slurs. Let's assume that the diminuendo is a contrast, and we're going to make a big change. So when we play this diminuendo, I would suggest playing from forte down to mezzo piano. Now, I might normally advise you to go all the way down to piano. But if we did that, it would make this diminuendo on the second page less significant. So let's keep the first diminuendo going to a mezzo forte, a little more mild in drama, and then on the second page we'll drive home the drama and make it pop, because it'll be so distinctly different from the first one. Let me show you the difference between this one going from forte to mezzo piano and this one going from fortissimo down to piano. So instead of following a textbook definition or choosing a camp to stay on, this artist is using diminuendo and decrescendo for different expressive purposes. And he's conveying to you his intention with the different parts of the music. And the reason he's doing that is so that we as pianists can accurately play the song with the dynamics he initially intended. That's the context that Chat was talking about, and that's what I encourage you to explore in your music. Rather than picking a camp or trying to find the right definition and stick to it permanently. Instead, come to your pieces with an open mind and try and figure out what was the artist's intention. What clear signals have they given me that I can extrapolate on? By not sticking to a rigid definition, you'll be able to express your decrescendos and diminuendos more artfully. This sonatina is from RCM Level 3 Repertoire. If you'd like to learn to play this sonatina, I would encourage you to purchase the book. I've left an Amazon link in the description. Full disclosure, if you purchase anything through that link, I will receive a small commission. If you found this video useful, please like it. If you know anyone else who is puzzled over the difference between diminuendo and decrescendo, please share this with them. If you want to leave any feedback or let me know how your practice is going, leave a comment down below, and if you would like more, subscribe.